Hey y'all, welcome to Botox and Booze. We're in New York City with famous Fat Dave.
Let's have a toast, 'cause we don't care.
Hey y'all, welcome to Botox and Booze, NYC. We're here with famous Fat Dave.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for having us.
You're very welcome in my home.
I love it. It's so cozy in here.
Thank you. Cozy is a word for it, yes.
Well, you know, we're from West Texas, so everything out there is wide open and everything is bigger in Texas. And so we really wanted to see what it's like to live in New York. What does the New Yorker live like?
It is, I would say, the opposite of West Texas. I've driven through West Texas, and there's a lot of it, like a lot. And you can just drive, and there's the open sky, and there's not a lot of open sky here. What I'll do, I'll walk over to the Hudson River, which isn't far from here, and just like chill and look at the river and look at the Statue of Liberty and just relax.
To have a moment with nature.
Yeah, that's my nature, is being out on the pier like a homeless person.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's my mood.
Just take a towel out there and just lay on
Oh
it.
yeah, no, I do. I totally do. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I love
great.
it.
Yeah.
Well, and if you want to play baseball.
If I want to play baseball, it's not easy to do in Manhattan. You can see I got my baseball bats in the corner here. What I do is I go out to the East River and I just yell. I take all my baseball equipment, throw it down, and I just yell out, "Baseball!" And then like kids come out of the projects and like we start playing baseball together. And like there are some parks. There's some parks. But if you hit a foul ball, it breaks a window on a car on the FDR Drive.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Well, that's what Nick and I were talking about, because at home we just let our kids run around in underwear and just run wild, and they're just one with nature all day, covered in mud. And
Yeah,
so
no.
they would struggle here.
You don't want to cover with any of the natural things out there. But you don't want to hermetically seal people in. They said back in the day, like 100 years ago, when the rich kids would be hermetically sealed in their apartments uptown, then they would come out and they'd die because they're not. So it's like the kids on the Lower East Side, that's all dirty. They'd be okay because you got to expose the kids.
Definitely.
Build that immunity for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And these are the days before the vaccine. So.
So are you originally from New York?
No, I'm a Marylander. So I mean, not that we have big wide open spaces in Maryland, but it's not as crowded as this. But I moved here when I was 18, and it got into my blood. And I started driving after college. I started driving a bread truck. I was a pickle man in the Lower East Side. I was a cheesemonger at Murray's Cheese, and I'm forgetting my own life. I was a hot dog vendor in Coney Island, and I drove a cab at night, and I would just ask everybody, what's the best thing to eat in your little neighborhood? And people are pretty proud of their little neighborhood secrets. They'll be like, oh, you got to go in here, you got to order this, got to tell them Nikki sent you, ask for Johnny, and then I just started taking friends and family on these tours. I'm like, Johnny sent me, he told me to get the chicken parm. And I started taking friends and family on food tours. And then I started taking friends of family and family of friends.
You mean people that start paying?
People started paying me. Actually, it was a friend's dad paid me. And I was like, oh, no. He's like, no, let me pay you.
Yeah.
And he paid me like a decent amount of money. And I was like, wait a second. Can I eat for a living? Is that possible? So then I started doing it professionally. So
Famous Fat Dave was born.
Famous Fat Dave's 5-borough eating tour on the wheels of steel.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
The checkered cab.
The checkered cab.
That is so cool.
Yeah,
You're a licensed cab driver.
I was a licensed cab driver. As a regular yellow cab driver, I drove a Crown Vic, like 02, 03, 04 full time. And then I started doing the other jobs more and doing the tour more and doing the driving less. But I've been doing, I'm still in my soul, I'm still a cab driver. I love to drive. I love driving. Just today, they came out with a thing on that Uber is going to do quiet cars. Did you hear about this? There's going to be a button that you could push that tells your driver to shut up, which I think is like so sick and so twisted. Like, I know some people don't want to talk, but it's called emotional intelligence. You figure out if they want to talk.
Yeah.
You don't need a button to tell you that. It's
I've
going to
never
make
really
us all...
had a chatty Uber driver.
People get
People
annoyed
get
by
really
it.
chatty,
I don't
yeah.
take Ubers. I only do yellow cabs.
Okay.
I'm a yellow cabbie.
I make best friends with all of them.
Yeah,
Every cab
see,
driver is
you're
my
my-
new best friend. The guy from Transylvania earlier.
yeah.
made
See,
new
exactly.
friends.
Some of the most interesting
So
people you
funny.
meet in the cab. So, and like, you're in a good conversation when you get to where you're going, he turns the meter off, and you still got like 5-10 minutes to talk about whatever you're talking about. So, and now I tend to bar at night too. So it's a similar thing as driving a cab. Everybody's talking, everybody's getting, getting real. I like to get real with people.
Definitely.
And that's the same thing with the food. The food kind of is just a window onto the people. Like the food, on my tour, I tell people it's really only half about like, this tastes delicious. And then the other half is about like the history and the culture and the vibe and like meeting the people and like the accents. Like when I took you guys, like they love your Texas accent, you love their New York accent, And in some cases, it's more so than the accents are more so than the movies. Like Martin Scorsese's watering down the accent. Like if you put the real guy in the movie, you'd be like, the audience would be like, nobody's really like that. Come on, that's not real. But the guys are really like that. Like they're like over the top.
Over the top.
I love it. I love
Nick
this.
does a good Big Ange impersonation.
Oh, yeah, I love Big Ange.
Oh, I do. She's hilarious.
Nick's been Big Anging us all over.
Oh, Big Ange is the best.
She is my hero.
Staten Island. She's from Brooklyn, I think, and then lived in Staten Island. You were talking about mob wives, right?
Yeah.
Big Ange. Yeah, she died.
Yes.
She did.
Yeah, that was a sad day.
She's a cutie.
Yeah, she was great. Yeah, I mean, it goes back. Like, remember on Saturday Night Live, there was like the call me, we'll talk. No big whoop, but we'll talk about dogs and daughters.
And coffee. She's always having
coffee talk. Yeah, it's coffee talk.
Coffee. It's
Coffee
coffee.
talk with Linda Richmond.
I
Yeah.
love it. So yeah, doing the bar, I mean, that it is kind of like being in a cab.
Yeah.
It's about the people. But what I loved the most about hanging out with you, we did hang out in your bar. So
Cool.
he taught us this cool little trick where he puts Old Bay on his popcorn.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, the seasoning.
Yeah.
You have to try it. It's
That's my
amazing.
Maryland roots. That's because I spent the first 18 years of my life in Maryland. I still go home all the time. So the Old Bay is like, if I were ever to get a tattoo, it would just be like a throat tattoo of Old Bay right there.
The logo.
Yeah, the logo of Old Bay. That's what it would be. I love it.
Well, and we left your bar and we walked all through the neighborhood and
Mm-hmm.
we went on a walking tour. The thing about it I love the most, like you said, it's not the food.
Yeah.
You know so much about New York, and it's from the bar and the cab.
And it's from the talking to people. Exactly. I've read the history books, and there is that's important to know the years and all that to match up with the stories, but the stories are the more important thing. The stories are what people remember. That's what on my tour, that's what I like to explain to people is that they're gonna hopefully remember the food for a long time, but you're gonna remember the people longer. You're gonna remember the people forever, because the people are total characters. Not just the accent, like it's that old, working class New York that's like from the movies, but even more so in every way. So I love the people. They get a lot of character here. So I've become a New Yorker. It's gotten into my blood. I don't have the accent. I'm not from here, but statistically, only 2 out of 5 New Yorkers are from New York. So the natives are the minority, and then 2 out of 5 New Yorkers are from a different country altogether. And then the last 1 out of 5, which is me, are Americans who moved to New York. Transplants were called.
See, that was my favorite part of the tour. All the history and
Yeah.
all the information that you give with your food tours.
Yeah, and then also introduce you to the people, and then like I'll kind of give you an idea of like where you are, like so you're not just it's not just about like this it tastes delicious. It's more about like like you're eating as you're sort of talking with the people, and then also I'm kind of setting the scene for you, telling you the history and the culture and the everything that goes with the food. Because the food's not in the vacuum, I'm not, and I don't do the trendy stuff. I don't like to, nothing against the cronut or anything, but I don't take people for cronuts.
Oh, I loved some of the little hole in the wall, really cool, quirky places that you took us to.
Yeah, did we do the Pakistani Big Mac?
That was,
Yes. I love that place.
I think we started there. That was like,
Yeah.
it stood out so good.
It's for you guys at home, I call it a Pakistani Big Mac. They don't call it a Pakistani Big Mac. They have stolen a photo of a Big Mac from like Photoshop and put it on their menu. But it's a 24-hour cab stand for the cab drivers.
Tiny little room.
Yeah, it's like a little doorway in Soho, like in a really rich part of Soho, actually, on Crosby Street. And you squeeze through there, and there's all these like Pakistani cab drivers in there. arguing in Urdu, and you can't understand what they're arguing about, but then you hear like Trump, Clinton, and you're like, oh, they're arguing about the same thing everybody else is arguing
give it a
about.
nod.
Yeah, you're like, mm-hmm. And they do this chicken sandwich with, so it is like a Big Mac in that it's got a sesame seed bun, 2 patties, lettuce, tomato, special sauce, but there's no middle bread, there's no pickles, and there's no cheese, and the patties are these like chicken patties with Pakistani spices, and that's what you're remembering.
That
Those
was so good.
spices that like lit up a taste bud that like you didn't even know you had. Yeah,
Very
I would
different.
put that burger up against any. But we go to that place. Yeah,
So
I
good.
would put that burger up against any burger in New York. It's an awesome burger.
I would definitely have to have the pickles in there, though.
Well, we could bring our own pickles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dave,
You're
help
known
us
as the
out.
pickle man.
Yeah, I was a pickle man. I used to sell pickles for a living at Gus Pickles. I'd stand out on the sidewalk and I'd be like, "Hey, pickles, peppers," and I would just sell people pickles at a 100-year-old pickle stand, almost 100-year-old pickle stand at the time. Now it's been over. That was 02, 03, that era. So, but those were heady days. That was a long time ago.
Getting started,
Yeah.
getting your foot in there.
Yeah.
What kind of pickles were those that you gave us? They're so good.
So the pickles I just happen to have here. You want some? Let me grab.
He
Yeah,
brought
let's
out a
get the
plate
pickles
of
out.
pickles.
Yes.
So good.
So this is just what I had in the fridge.
Yes.
So here, let's have some.
Yes. So
it's a brown mustard pickle from Nick Hormon, who makes amazing pickles over here on the west side of town. And then this is the sweet pickle here from him. He's
This is amazing.
There's really good pickles, right? He's a 3rd generation pickle maker from Long Island, and his dad made pickles and his granddad made pickles. Then he was supposed to do something else, so he went to college. He studied philosophy, but then he was drawn back to the pickles. So he started Hormon's Best, and their logo is him thinking, and the words think, question, pickle.
So good.
And and we get these pickles from for when I work at the bar in this neighborhood. We use these pickles, and even his sauerkraut as well. So
Yeah, I'm obsessed
have the
with
sweet
pickles.
pickle. That's your southern
Okay.
your southern thing. You know, it matches up. And of course, more Georgia than Texas, right?
So good.
Want another one?
Yeah, one more. That's it.
Say something for these
Now
guys.
cut me off.
Yeah.
Those are so good.
Hide them from me.
Yes, I'm obsessed with pickles, so
Me too.
yeah.
I mean, the pickles to me, it's my Jewish it's like my soul food. Mm-hmm. But I think I would love pickles even if I wasn't Jewish.
I
It's
know.
just the crunch and the sour and you could eat as many as you want.
I also just buy like the dill pickle juice in the gallon and
Just
just
drink it.
like drink it on
that's my
ice.
thing is drinking the juice.
Oh, yeah.
I leave dry jars of pickles and people
Oh,
get
I know.
so pissed.
I
They
get
call
a
that
huge one too.
Jewish whiskey. That's Jewish whiskey.
Oh.
Yeah. Jewish whiskey is pickle juice. Jewish penicillin is chicken soup, and Jewish champagne is celery soda. You ever had celery soda?
Never.
Celery
Maybe we should go get some celery
Yeah,
soda.
we'll have to
We have to go to
try
Cat's
some.
Deli for that. Yeah.
I love
Celery
it.
soda.
Yeah, it's Cat's
Wow.
Deli that sells. It's Dr. Brown's, a New Jersey company. Because Coca-Cola used to not be kosher, so the Dr. Brown's was kosher, so it became the drink of the Jewish deli. Of a kosher deli, you couldn't sell Coke. Now Coke is kosher as well. It's a little thing in the corner. It just means a rabbi checked it out, made sure they're not like making Coca-Cola and pork products in the place. So now you could have Coke in a Jewish deli, but for like 100 years you couldn't.
Yeah.
So Dr. Brown's became the thing, and Dr. Brown's has cream soda and root beer, but they started doing celery soda.
Wow, that's wild.
That
You might
place
not
is
like
great.
it. I don't know. Half the people hate it, including Jews.
Okay.
So
Well, I'm willing to
that's
try
if we
it.
go all
That
the way over to
sounds so
Katz. That's
fun.
not quite this neighborhood.
Cats is great. We went there.
Yeah, we went there on the tour too. Katz
Good
Deli,
pickles
where Harry
they
met
make.
where Harry met Sally. Remember, I'll have what she's having.
Yeah,
That's
the
Katz
moment.
Deli. Yeah. And then there's a big sign hanging from the ceiling that says, "Smile, you're sitting where Harry met Sally. Hope you have what she had."
I love it. So we talk a lot on the podcast about travel and how important travel is just for your overall health and growth as a human and just for your mind, body, and soul to have balance. You need to
Oh.
see how other people live. Just
100%.
talk to me about that a little bit.
So I travel, I'm 40. I traveled as much as I could in my 20s, knowing that just from observing the world, that when people get hit, their 30s and 40s and beyond, it's harder to travel. So I was like, let me just travel as much as I can in my 20s. So I traveled all over. I went all over Europe. I took the Trans-Siberian Railroad. I went from Moscow to Ulaanbaatar in Mongolia, and then I went all over America on a road trip, Vietnam and Cambodia. I did Tanzania, and I went to Morocco and Egypt. So I just traveled as much as I could. And what I found traveling, just in my own mind, is what I'm interested in when I travel, which I think almost everybody is the local stuff. Like, the local people, the local food, the local, like the hangouts, and that's pretty much whatever.
That changes you.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Like the tour stuff is good. Like to see, you have to see, you have to see the Mona Lisa when you go to Paris.
Right.
But the thing that you're going to remember even more is like the little baguette place, around the corner that you found that you could never find again, So
Yes.
and that's what I kind of do on my tours is like I'm kind of taking people around New York and traveling, and it's like traveling around the world by traveling around New York. And it's not only traveling around New York and traveling around the world, going to, an Irish place and a Jewish place and an Italian place and a Turkish place, but it's also in some cases, it's like time travel. Like you go into a place and like Kat's Deli, it might as well be like 1950 in there.
Absolutely.
Like for all intents and purposes, the food hasn't changed, the attitudes haven't changed. It is a little bit like time travel. That Pinot's Prime Meats, the butcher shop from 1904, it's still 1904 in there pretty much. All the equipment, even the butcher blocks are like 35 years old. So in a way, it is a little bit like time travel. I love doing it. And even like it's that old New York that you thought was gone, that everybody, that the pop culture is telling you is like, oh, it's all hipsters and yuppies and everybody's an equities trader on Wall Street. Like, guess what? There's always been equities traders on Wall Street. They've been here since the 1700s. So they're still here. If you don't like equities traders, don't hang out with equities traders. It's fine.
Get the top layer off and
Yeah.
then dig into the people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even the equities traders are interesting guys half the time.
Them too. We can talk
Yeah,
about
they're fine. That's the thing. Like everybody gets all crazy. Like they have this idea of what they want, and if they don't find it right away, they're like, New York sucks. See, I get bombarded with that being in New York, that New York's terrible, New York's not as cool as it used to be. But I always ask those people, when was New York at its coolest? And they're always like, oh, like whatever year, like let's say 1977 or 1988 or whatever. And I'm always like, oh, how old were you that year? And they're like 25. And I'm like, so do you think that maybe New York's still cool and you suck?
No, you're not.
And then in like 20 years from now, there's going to be a bunch of like 40-year-old guys sitting around being like, oh, you should have been in New York in 2019. It was the best. It was we had dollar pizza. We had Bill de Blasio. Like
Dollar pizza.
Yeah, we do have dollar
talking about
pizza.
that.
We
Yeah.
do have dollar pizza. There's a dollar pizza place right near here.
We were just talking about that.
Were you talking about it? What are you saying about dollar pizza?
Well, because our cab driver earlier was telling us that all pizza in New York is great.
And all pizza in
I was like,
Brooklyn
what
and
about
New
the
Jersey
dollar
is
pizza
shit.
place?
Like,
in Jersey is different. They use different water. They use they tend to think, the Jersey people tend to think our pizza's too sweet. The sauce is too sweet, and their crust is. I've had great pizza in Jersey, but I think the pizza on average in New York is better than Jersey. But there's great pizza in New Jersey. Dollar pizza though is a different story. So dollar pizza started just before, but really exploded during the financial crisis in '08 when there were these two brothers. They're named the Halali brothers, not Italian, and they opened a place called Two Brothers Pizza, and they figured if we could do enough volume, like they get pallets of cheese and like huge amounts of soda, and if we could get people in and out fast enough, then we can make a profit on dollar pizza. And they did, and it kind of spread all around the city, and it sucks. I mean, it's not good pizza. It's still probably better than I'd imagine pizza in Texas. I didn't have any pizza in Texas, but compared to the pizza that is really good, it sucks.
Yeah, you're right.
But it's still pretty good. It's still pizza, and it is it's very New York. You will get in that line, and there'll be a homeless guy and a Wall Street banker next to each other.
Right.
And because the homeless guy doesn't have money, and the Wall Street guy doesn't have time, and they get you on average in and out in 9 seconds once you go
wow.
in. So it's in and out real quick.
I love
There's
that.
a place near here called Percy's that still does dollar pizza. So if you want, what we could do, when we walk around the neighborhood, I could take you to Joe's and get you a slice there and get $3 pizza and compare it to your $1 pizza a block away. That might be fun to compare and contrast. Because the dollar pizza is best when you're poor or drunk. Those are the two times to get dollar pizza.
Yeah, and I'm both.
$9 pizzas for you.
But I'm glad that dollar pizza exists. It seems to be changing though. I'm starting to see $2 pizza or $1.50 pizza or something. Yeah. And once you start doing that, just get the good pizza. Just get the $3 pizza.
So if I'm from Midland, I've never been to New York. Give us some tips. Like, if you come to New York?
Okay.
Here are the things, without a doubt.
If you're from Texas.
Give me 3. Yeah.
Three things to do in New York when you come. Okay, that are not like the obvious like. Right. Go like to the top of the Statue of Liberty. Actually, don't go to the top of the Statue of Liberty. That's like a, you know what you can't see from the top of the Statue of Liberty is the Statue of Liberty. This is what I would say to someone from Texas to experience New York. The city really is on the streets. There's no highways crisscrossing New York the way there are in every other major American city. When I say New York, I mean Manhattan in that case. There are highways crisscrossing the Bronx and Queens and Brooklyn, but Manhattan, there's highways on the edges, but you could just walk from southern Manhattan, from the southern tip of Manhattan, all the way up to 181st Street before you even see a highway. So, and one neighborhood turns into the next, and the people are all out on the street. So I'd say just walk around. I know it sounds like not great advice, but walk as much as possible. And then don't go to the restaurant that's so hard, like to get a reservation, or the club where you need the password. You'll just be there with a bunch of tourists, you know? Go like out in the streets. Like I go sit on the pier a lot and just chill out there at Pier 40 over the Hudson River. Or the parks are great. Like Washington Square is amazing. The High Line is cool. You know, the High Line, that's a new thing that we have. Is an old elevated freight line that used to move freight, and now it's like 50% tourists and 50% New Yorkers up there. And it's like this park in the sky that's nice. I would say take the Staten Island ferry. That would be my advice. First of all, they let you drink a beer. You haven't done that? Oh, definitely do that. They let you drink a beer, and I'm not even a big beer drinker, even though I'm a bartender. But if you're gonna let me drink a beer on a boat, I'll have a beer. So the move is go onto the ferry, it's free, grab a beer, and it's not like some craft beer or something, it's like you get like a tall boy of like Heineken, and then you just float right past you go past the Statue of Liberty, but also you're pulling away from Manhattan, and you're seeing it sort of rise in front of you, and you're in the middle of the harbor, and it's very, it's good for your soul. It's good for good for your wellness.
We're gonna have to check that out. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely do it. And it goes 24 hours a day. So you don't even have to schedule it. Do it at the end of the day. I'm always the guy in my group of friends who's like, all right. It's like 2 a.m. I'm like, let's go to Staten Island Ferry. And people are like, we're done, Dave. I'm like, Staten Island Ferry, guys.
Hell yeah.
And they're like, we're done. And
You're the guy nobody likes the next day. I have good ideas too.
Exactly. That's me.
In the middle of the night, always.
That's me, yeah.
Well, when I was coming to New York for the first time, I asked around and asked all my friends who had already been here, and everyone said to take the Famous Fat Dave food tour.
Ah, yes, that's the thing to do. The Famous Fat Dave
for
food
sure
tour.
You have to do that one, but that was obvious.
That goes without saying.
And the Pickle Tickle tour?
There's the Pickle Tickle tour. That's everything pickled. Yes. I got the Pickle Tickle tour. I got the Day Drinking with Dave tour. Ooh. I got the Midnight Munchie Madness tour. But I would just say do the regular, just, book a tour, and like you do the walking tour in the neighborhood, or do the driving tour into and you get to, and I'll introduce you to the people I know, and you get, it's all about the human interaction, which is, I just feel like it's missing, especially amongst tourists in New York, especially in Times Square. You get really treated like a number,
There's just so much going on.
There's too many.
To get into the people there. You definitely have to get away from the well-traveled areas.
Yeah, although, the people, I've been up to Times Square, and the cop knows the coffee guy, knows the security guard, like that. The people are people, so you could get to know the people up there if you want. It's just a lot harder. Yeah, because there's just literally thousands of tourists going in between the regular people all the time. So, but I love tourists too. You get to know the tourists. They're just travelers.
Okay, Famous Fat Dave. Before we hit the streets, it's my favorite part of Botox and Booze. Oh, yeah? What is have you ever had a moment where you wanted to die but didn't? It's your do not resuscitate moment.
Do not resuscitate, as in I've embarrassed myself beyond any.
Yes.
reconciliation with the world.
Most embarrassing moment, yes.
I would say probably the most embarrassing moment in my entire life. I was training for NYU Fightin' Violets baseball season.
Okay.
And Lou Gehrig's my favorite player, and he never went on the disabled list, and my arm was hurting, and I was like, no, Gehrig would not go on the disabled list. Like, I'm not going to the doctor because he would. So apparently, I later found out I had a hairline fracture. I didn't know this at the time, so I was playing with my friend Greg, and we met two random people, and then it got too dark to throw the ball, so we thought it would be safer if we played Nerf football. So now as the sun's going down, we're playing Nerf football, down to the last play, and we're like, okay, this last play, whoever, if you score, you win, if you don't score, we win. And I was like, okay, and I'm like, Greg's like, you be the quarterback, because I can't run, because I'm fat. So this is why it's good to not be fat. So I'm like, go downfield. And I try to heave the ball as hard as and it's a Nerf, so there's no resistance really. So apparently I later found out the torque of the throwing of the ball snapped my arm in half.
Oh,
I didn't know that at the time. I thought someone crashed into me or something. I woke, apparently I was on my back with my legs in the air like a dead bug. But when I came to, I was on my knees and I saw this hand right here. Oh. And I was like, oh, that's the guy who crashed into me. But then I wiggled my hand. I was, oh, that's my hand. And I didn't realize it, but I had broken my arm in half. And then and the other two people were like, we win the game. I'm like, you do win the game. Oh. And then I had to like hail a cab to get to the hospital, holding my arm in place, being like,
oh, that makes me hurt.
So yes, DNR. I snapped my arm in half throwing a Nerf football.
Oh, that's.
And more importantly, lost the game.
Yeah. Yes, and lost the Nerf football game as well, and missed half the season of NYU Fightin' Violets baseball. That's how embarrassing our team is. We're called the Fightin' Violets. It's kind of is.
Fightin' Violets.
Yeah,
Fighting
it's
violets.
a little embarrassing. And our season was everybody, our opponents. Exhibition games. So our regular season was the exhibition for the other two. That's how bad we were. Because we didn't have a home field because it goes back to being in Manhattan. We don't have any space, so we didn't have a home field. So
oh my God.
Yeah, that was that one was not. That
pretty
was not good for my. That was not good for my soul. That's not good for wellness or my arm. But I actually have more bone than I used to have.
It grows back stronger.
Stronger. So I was hoping it was gonna be like Rookie of the Year when he throws the ball and he's like got like a 98 mile per hour fastball.
Yeah.
It didn't happen. That's not how
You
my
just got more bone?
I just got more bone and I throw even worse than I used to throw.
Wah, wah, wah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Before we go, I want to give you a little souvenir cup, our Botox and booze.
All blinged out and everything.
Yes.
Bling for your booze.
Shiny, very nice. I don't have any Botox though. Is that?
That's okay. Booze is good.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I do have booze at the bartender, so
Perfect.
you know what I'll do? I'm gonna drink out of this while everyone else at my bar drinks out of like their own little glass. Like I'll just be like with all my shiny bling.
Your blinged up.
Yeah, totally.
Love
Thank
it.
you very
You're
much.
so welcome.
Thank you, much appreciated.
You're welcome. Well, let's go get some pizza.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
We'll do
Yes,
a compare
let's
and
do it.
contrast.
I love it.
Cool. What we should do is get the $1 pizza and then eat it on the street so that you can be honest.
If I lived in New York, I would want to live above the dollar pizza place.
So you come home from the bar, stop
is this the
in,
entrance?
grab a $1 pizza, have your people buzz you in.
Okay.
Let's do it right here. So this is your, what is the first thing you know? It's not very big.
That's right.
That's $2, that's 2 slices.
Okay.
So really, it's gonna be about the size of our slice when we go to Joe's. So it's not really $1 pizza. If you think about it, it's $2 pizza to get the size of the, so that's what I'm right here. You guys, I loaded them up a little bit. I put a little,
I'm seeing minimal toppings. I don't know. Did someone rip these off?
I just put a little Parmesan, a little pepper. So it's still, it's hot, it's crispy, it's cheesy. So it still gives you the, here,
So
hold on
good.
to it. It's
Want
still,
some?
yeah, I'll take a bite, sure.
Oh my God.
So good, right?
It hits your, what satisfies you about pizza.
Okay.
Hot,
It really
cheesy.
does. Like I feel like it's full of toppings.
See what I'm
It
saying?
just tastes great.
When you're drunk, that's pretty good. And that crust is actually pretty damn good.
This is super good. Help yourself. Get in there.
I'm good.
No,
I get to eat this
I
stuff all
like
the
the
time.
crunch.
So you guys are liking the dollar pizza. All right, this will be interesting. So then when we get when we go to Joe's, that's sort of the gold standard of pizza in New York. Okay. You got too excited. Hold on.
So easy, Nick.
I just burned it.
We have enough
crap out of
injuries,
my tongue.
enough work-related injuries happening right now.
Yeah, I just burnt my mouth. No biggie. Let's try that again.
I like it because it's not so cheesy. Like
It's not
you
too
can definitely
cheesy.
taste-
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, when we go to Joe's, that's the gold standard of
Okay.
pizza in New York.
Go for
So,
some.
okay.
Get in there.
Here, you good?
I'm good. I'm just gonna steal your napkin. I'll even share it with
That
you.
was for you.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
I'm a fan.
Uh-huh.
That's some
I got
of
a
my
good
favorite
crunch.
crust.
This is the
And
best.
I'm not even drunk.
Exactly, or pork.
No.
This is not. This isn't even. Okay, I would say that this is the number one best $1 pizza,
Okay.
which isn't really saying much. So let's go over to Joe's, and you'll see. You'll see why it's worth
Okay.
triple. So the pizza place is there.
Okay. With the
we'll go
line
around.
out the door?
Yes, but the line moves really quick.
Yeah.
Oh, and this is where I got the pickles from that you guys.
Oh,
see, there's the
man.
yellow.
Oh, yeah.
That's where the pickles come
Oh.
from. So if you want to get another pickle, here, let's go straight there real quick.
I wonder if they can ship them to me.
And let's see if Ray is there. Wait, Ray.
What?
We're gonna make you famous in Texas.
Hey.
Oh my God.
Oh,
I got
this is
Midlands,
like
Texas with
heaven.
us. We're just gonna eat a pickle.
Babe, look at these
Good
barrels.
to see ya.
Is there a
This is Ray.
Hi.
I was talking about these
Marcy, good to meet
when
you.
we were talking. It's what's the name of the podcast?
Botox and booze.
Botox and booze and pickles. So
Yeah, and pickles too.
let's just give him a couple pickles to try. There's
This is
Nick.
like heaven.
Yeah.
It's like
This
pickle
is
heaven.
Ray. What should we get? I was at,
Everyone gets a pickle, okay?
I was at my house and I had the brown mustard pickle, so we already ate that on camera.
So
So
good.
I would think
So
let's
good.
give him a new one.
You, okay?
Yeah, to give like a more like refreshing taste. And then
Yes.
maybe what do you think? Like
Slightly salted.
I want to try something hot.
oh, he's got hot.
I got medium spicy right now.
Thank you.
Or
Medium
horseradish?
spicy?
Horseradish, yeah.
You like horseradish?
Yeah, I do.
Give him horseradish.
Good for your
Yeah.
sinus.
Yeah. So this is Nick. This is Hormon's best. This is the one I told you guys about on
Thank you.
And
in the interview.
Hormon is my best friend.
Yeah. Yeah. Is he? I
Exactly.
didn't know that you guys are best friends. Oh, okay, cool. Tell him. I didn't realize that was your relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
This is so good.
that's that's a new pickle. That's you only get that one in New York. So
Good trade.
you don't get the new
You worried
pickle
about eating it?
in other places.
gonna buy it.
So I had the. Remember, I was here like a week ago, and I had a quart of
Cucumbery.
of
Oh, that's good.
of the brown mustard pickles. So
It's not too horseradish.
thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just
good.
about right.
Yeah.
You know? So is there like anything crazy going on, like Botox and boobs? Is
They
that
go come to the bar
Botox and
tomorrow.
I love it. He just renamed the podcast to Botox and Boobs.
Isn't that what I said?
Booze.
Booze. Oh my God.
We might change it. That's a good idea.
That's actually a great idea.
Cheers to Botox and
Botox
booze.
and boobs.
That's a booze. Yeah. Okay, where are the guys? Well, they should come, guys. All right. There we go. Joe's Pizza. So you
Oh
see
my
the
gosh,
difference. First of
let's try
all,
this
I got you one
first.
of each. Yeah. First of all, the size,
Okay.
and now you'll taste the quality difference.
Okay.
There you go. He knows what he's doing. He's doing it. He's doing the fold. There you go. The fold. Nice work. Nice. I've had people roll it up like a burrito before.
I do that at the very end.
At the end, it's okay at the end, but like sometimes they just roll it. I've had people ripping the strips. The other New Yorkers will enforce it, and they'll yell at you for being like you cannot roll pizza up like it's a
Oh, yeah.
burrito. Check
This
it.
$3 pizza's better.
Yeah. Yes.
The $3?
Hands down.
Yeah, easily. And try the
Here, try
classic
me.
as well. Yeah, you could taste the dough is a higher quality, the cheese is higher quality, the sauce is higher quality, and it's like, you know, this is also good when you're drunk. But what? Mm-hmm. That's just got fresh mozzarella on it.
Okay.
As opposed to this,
The
which has
sauce and
the
mozzarella?
same sauce, fresh mozzarella versus.
I'm a fan of that one.
You like this one?
Trade me back.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
I like it.
No, this one.
Want some?
This is good. I
This
have it
one
all the time.
definitely has more toppings.
Yeah, more.
It's a little-
Cheese.
Right. So when
It's a
they say
little greasier.
when they say dollar pizza,
I can't see the bottom.
it's a
the dough.
Yeah, the dollar pizza is about half the size of that. So they really mean $2 pizza.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but then the quality's the extra dollar there.
I'll spend the extra $1.
Yeah, spend the extra $1. All right, it's a tough job. Someone's got to do it.
Oh yeah.
Look,
good.
I've dedicated my whole life. I've made it my life's work to find all the best food in New York City. So
You've done good.
I feel like I'm doing God's work here.
You
know?
sure are.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you for
you
having
made
me.
our trip. I appreciate it.
I think